Good morning, afternoon, or evening. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Congress organizers and the attendees for being here today. I would like to present to you the research titled Bridging Online and In Person: How Hybrid Learning Shapes Russian as a Foreign Language Classes. Following the COVID 19 pandemic, the use of new technologies in foreign language teaching has increased significantly. Thus, while online classes and various resources available on the internet were already beginning to occupy an important place in teaching before 2020, today they have become almost essential. However, the implementation of information technology in foreign language classes began much earlier than the pandemic. Authors such as Paris, Driscoll, and Whitelock and Jeffs wrote about so-called hybrid learning and attempted to define it starting in the early 2000s. One of the latest and most comprehensive definition belongs to Friedrichova-Klimova and Castleton. You can see it on the slide. Currently, a PowerPoint presentation and the use of internet resources such as articles, interactive exercises, or audiovisual material are no longer a novelty. Furthermore, they are tools that are essential when conducting a foreign language class. The COVID 19 pandemic has contributed significantly to changes in the vision of the hybrid modality, making it more accessible, mainly because many educational institutions had to adapt and install the appropriate technical and IT equipment to maintain operation during the pandemic. Consequently, teachers were forced to learn how to use all this technical equipment and update their knowledge. Today, we can say that the hybrid modality will become almost essential in some cases. We cite two more recent definitions of the hybrid modality proposed by Boscourt and Sharma and Martinez Gonzalez. You can see it on the slide. Most existing definition mentions a combination of the face-to-face component with the online component, but they do not specify exactly what is meant by the online component, whether it refers to synchronous video conferences classes, video tutorials, or materials and exercises for independent student learning, the latter of which would be considered the blended learning modality and not the hybrid one. We consider it necessary to define how we understand the hybrid modality in the present research. It is a combination of face-to-face classes with synchronous online classes which can be conducted on various platforms such as Google Meet, Zoom, and so on, using appropriate technical equipment, cameras, screens, and microphones that allows for efficient interaction between on-site and online students. Furthermore, depending on the policy of each center, students are provided with class recording for review or independent study, along with other supporting materials like presentations, exercises, or audiovisual resources. And of course, the possibility of contacting the teacher via email or instant messaging application. You can see the objectives of the present study on the slide. The hypothesis can also be seen on the slide. To meet the objective and confirm or refuse our hypothesis, we designed two surveys using Google Forms, one for students and one for teachers. The survey for students contains 30 questions, 12 of which are mandatory and one is optional. Out of total of 57 students, 50 have answered the survey. All of them study Russian language at the Superior Center for Modern Languages at the University of Cadiz. Regarding the survey for teachers, it was completed by 5 out of out of 5 instructors. It is slightly more extensive than the student survey containing 22 questions, 21 of which are mandatory and one is optional. This difference in the number of questions is due to the fact that, unlike the students, the instructors were asked about the methods they used to develop each of the skills, as well as the influence of hybrid modality on their physical and mental health, among other questions, of course. Next, we will discuss the result obtained from the student survey. General data on the student profile are presented on this slide. It is observed that the number of men survived exceeded the number of women, which is explained by the fact that the majority of students who enroll in Russian language classes at the University of Cadiz are men. The age representation of respondents is more or less balanced. Regarding language level, there are more A1 students because there are more groups at different time slots for this level. Furthermore, people often enroll in A1 simply to try something new and then they or lose motivation or no longer have time to continue studying. Therefore, the number of students who start is always greater than those who reach the higher levels. In this graph, we can visualize the attendance pattern in the classes, with online, synchronous, and face-to-face attendance prevailing. However, there is a certain number of students who combined online classes with recorded classes, 12%, and online classes with face-to-face classes, 10%. 4% only viewed the recorded classes and another 4% combined all three possible forms of attendance. Most of the students who attend face-to-face are between 18 and 24 years old and over 54. However, those over 54 attended online classes more often than the younger student. In this way, older people can avoid leaving their homes, which is more convenient, especially if they have health or time issues. Most of the A1 level students attend face-to-face. A2 level students, aside from attending in person, prefer to combine online classes and recorded classes. The majority of B1 and C1 level students attend classes online. One of the question items asked whether hybrid modality classes had affected student learning in any way. If this question was answered by starting that learning had improved or worsened, the respondents had to explain why. So, in the present graph, we can see that 58% of respondents say that their learning has improved. 30 indicate that the hybrid modality has not influenced them in any way, and only 12% answer that their learning has worsened. This result leads us to the conclusion that the hybrid modality is a promising format that largely satisfies the needs of the student. According to this graph, the students who indicated that their learning has worsened attend classes face-to-face or combine online and face-to-face classes. In almost all groups, except for the A1 level, there are students who indicated that their learning has worsened. Most of the people who indicate that their learning has worsened are over 54 years old. The remaining students are between 18 and 34 years old. On this slide, you can observe some of the responses from students who indicate that their learning has improved. The surveys yielded 29 responses, but we are only presenting 6 that we found to be the most complete and not repetitive. You can see these responses on the slide. Here are the comments from students who state that their learning has worsened. So we have 5 answers in total. You can see the responses on the slide too. Satisfaction with the development of each of the language skills is generally quite positive. Only writing, according to students, is not developed to the same extent as the others. Most of the respondents are completely satisfied or satisfied with the hybrid modality classes. Based on the attendance patterns, the students who are not satisfied with the hybrid modality classes attend face-to-face, online, and combine both online and face-to-face classes. If we filter their responses by language level, we observe that the students who are not satisfied with the hybrid modality classes are in the A1, A2, and B1 levels. We hypothesize that this occurs because, besides facing the difficulty of attending class in a language in which they still lack high proficiency, they also have to overcome the difficulties posed by hybrid modality, including both technical challenges and attention issues. According to the age variable, the students who are not satisfied with the hybrid modality classes belong to 45 to 54 and over 54 age groups, which was expected due to the level of digital literacy. The graph showing the problems indicated by students can be seen on the slide. The graph showing the advantages indicated by the student can be also seen on the slide. You can also see the profiles of students who would not sign up again for the hybrid modality classes and their comments. Finally, the students proposed possible improvements for the classes, which can be seen on the slide too. Due to time constraints, we will not delve into the result of the instructors or teachers survey, but will instead only present a brief summary of the answers. A more detailed description will be proposed in the future possible publication. The teacher highlights significant difficulties, including technical equipment deficits and stress, reported by 50% of teachers when managing simultaneous interaction between online and in-person students. While they acknowledge flexibility as an advantage, a large proportion, 40%, were dissatisfied with the modality, citing that the required lack of movement and inability to fully monitor students who only watch recorded classes were major issues. In conclusion, the hybrid modality in foreign language classes, particularly Russian, is presented as an interesting alternative that combines the best of face-to-face and online teaching. The research conducted has confirmed that hybrid modality classes can provide significant advantages for the teaching learning process, such as scheduling, flexibility, and accessibility for students. However, the implementation of this modality still faces several challenges that must be addressed. Among these are technical problems, connectivity issues, sound problems, and digital literacy gaps, which can hinder the learning process. Furthermore, the availability and use of didactic resources were also identified as a weak point that needs improvement. It is observed that instructors are less satisfied with the hybrid modality classes than students. To change this, it is proposed that the technical equipment be improved so that the teacher has the possibility of free movement around the classroom, which could be achieved with multiple cameras and more powerful microphones. However, the need to control multiple screens and buttons will not disappear until technology advances further. In addition, online resources should be developed further, and the process for conducting and submitting exercises and exams should be improved too. In general, hybrid modality classes in the field of foreign language teaching are a promising innovation. that must be refined to exploit its full potential. Likewise, any technical problems they may arise must be resolved to ensure a high quality learning experience. Thank you for your attention. I will be happy to answer your questions and doubts.